Hi, so my name is Megan Flanagan, and I'm a coach at FromWithin Coaching. And today I'm really fortunate to have Greer VanDyck with me. Did I pronounce your last name right?
You did. Yeah,
Okay,
you
great.
yeah, you're
Um,
good.
and this month's topic is imposter syndrome. And while we're going to be focusing on that topic this month, it's a topic I've been talking about with Amy, the founder of FromWithin Coaching, for 7 years. So, Greer, welcome to Coach's
Thank
Corner.
you.
We're
Thank
just
you.
going to have a quick chat about imposter syndrome. But before I ask you a question, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and who you love to coach?
Great. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me. My name is Greer VanDyck, and I run a coaching and consulting business called Windrose. A windrose is also known as a compass rose. So it's the part of the compass, the arrow that's responsible for directing true north. And I heard it. And in its inception, that's a lot of what I do for organizations. So I work with leadership and management teams on helping them discover their true north, and bravery and psychological safety are core tenets of my work. I've just recently launched an extension of my business supporting parents in the workplace. So I truly love working with people leaders, and as of recently, really love working with parents in the workplace and navigating all that entails. So
That entails a lot.
imposter syndrome never comes up. So I don't really know why I'm here.
Ever. No. So that leads me to my first question. Um, what are common signs that you see that somebody might be experiencing imposter syndrome?
Yeah. In my work, I will see a great amount of fear, just generalized fear. So I'll see it in body language. A lot of my work is remote and virtual. So when I sense that imposter syndrome is there, I'm paying very close attention to the top half of someone's body, which is really all that I can see. And you'd be
Sure.
amazed at how much body language communicates imposter syndrome is there. So whether someone's, shrugged down, or someone's like really tightly wound like this, or someone's frantically kind of scanning. So there are a lot of nonverbal cues that I see. I'll also see a lot of language that really communicates low self-confidence. So a lot of correcting behavior, or I really didn't mean it this way. I really meant it this way. A lot of disclaimers in what they're about to say. Oftentimes I'll see someone who just, you can tell, is not very comfortable presenting authentically. And
Mhm.
so that would be some of the early signs that I would start to see with imposter syndrome.
Yeah, really great call outs. How do you get your clients to, well, A, I it's we talk about imposter syndrome all the time in our coaching practices with all of our co-coaches. But there's a lot of people still out there that have never heard imposter syndrome, or it's just kind of hitting a tipping point now, believe it or not, even though we've been talking about it
Not
for
wild.
decades. But like, how do you introduce the topic of imposter syndrome and then introduce or have the conversations with your clients about introducing tools to help them and that
Yeah.
it's not because I mean we're dealing with imposter syndrome, but it's not as hard as it's going to seem to take some
Mm.
of the tools and put them into action. So, how
Yeah.
do you start the conversation with somebody about imposter syndrome when you see it in them as a coach?
Yeah. How I typically go about doing this is, and I'm a big buy-in gal. So anytime that I make an observation with a client, I ask them first if they're okay with me sharing an observation. And
Mhm.
I typically wait until I see pattern and trend. So I will not make an observation or state an observation after the first disclaiming comment or the first sign of insecurity or low self-confidence. I'll wait until I see it a few times, because what I'm doing is I'm gathering data to really assess, oh, is this imposter syndrome that I'm seeing, or perhaps something else? So oftentimes I will ask the person if they're okay with me sharing an observation. And I don't believe I've ever heard the word no in response to that question. But I do invite that.
Mhm.
And then I share, in our conversation, this is how I've experienced you. You've said X and Y and Z, and I've also noticed some of your body language. There's a phenomenon out there that is very universally felt by humans. It's called imposter syndrome. Have you heard of it?
Mhm.
Typically, the answer is no. Oh, are you interested in learning a little bit more? Because my sense is that some of what I'm seeing and hearing falls in line with some of the challenges that you're also having. And
Mhm.
so I will, again, I ask for permission a lot with clients before jumping to a conclusion. And what I also make sure that I communicate is this is just a thought. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
Please let me know if this doesn't seem like it's in line with what you're feeling. And almost always it is, because imposter syndrome is so universally experienced. So that's typically how I invite the conversation. And I'd say I do something really similar with tools. Okay, now that we've kind of confirmed that you're going down this road and you've talked to me about your challenges with, feeling like you deserve to have a seat at the leadership table, or feeling really scared to share your ideas in a meeting, or give this presentation. Are you open to seeing how we could work with it? What's motivating to you? Are you motivated to try and work around this? So before I introduce tools, I assess the level of interest in the tools.
Right.
And I agree with you. And I will oftentimes say this too, that there's a lot of fear that they won't get through it or work with it. I think the anticipation of what imposter syndrome means about me as a human is far greater than the actuality of working with it in real time. So we also talk about that. Um,
Right.
and with tools, I'll kind of say this as the last piece. I introduce tools gradually. So I typically don't stack tools on a client. I'll maybe introduce a few, and then I'd say, which one stands out to you that we could focus on? Just making it very palatable, because it's a lot to take in that, oh, this is imposter syndrome. Oh gosh, now I'm present to really what's going on. And now tools, it's just a lot for the brain
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
wrap around.
I love everything you just said. And one of the things that I deal with in the entrepreneur space is a lot of people calling themselves coaches and jumping in and helping people and not asking the questions and not going through some really good core values and ethics that the ICF provides certified
Yeah,
coaches with. So it's one of
yeah,
the things I love about the From Within coaching organization and the standard of coaches and the trusted partners we have. But you talking about imposter syndrome and kind of sharing what somebody might go through in a coaching session with you, that was really eye-opening. So thank you for
yeah.
sharing so much. I could talk about imposter syndrome for hours. I'm sure I could probably find a million topics to talk to you about for hours.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited to dive into more conversations in our, little 5-minute segments we're calling Coach's Corner. But
Yeah.
thank you for being so open and joining us today. Where can people find you if they would like to book a discovery call with you or investigate coaching with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is windrosedirection.com, and I'm Greer at Greer, windrosedirection.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. And then she is also, I believe you are also on the Trusted Partners page at From Within
Yes, and
Coaching.
I'm on the Trusted Partners
So
page.
you can find out more about her there. So check her out at both places. And Greer, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great.